back to the plot, the Michigan plot. Believe me, this applies to you. So the FBI goes hunting for any groups of men who may be really, really angry about the COVID tyranny. And they find some guys. And what they do is they start sending their agents and or informants after these guys, and they start planning with them a plot to kidnap and assassinate Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan. Already this sounds terrible, doesn't it? I mean, already it's terrible. Wait a minute, the FBI came up with the plan? Oh, no, you don't understand. The FBI not only came up with the plan, they organized the plan, funded the plan, and I just can't even believe I'm saying this, they actually took the guys that they're now convicting. FBI agents and or informants took the guys that they're now going to send to a penitentiary. They took them to the summer cabin. Apparently the governor of Michigan has a summer cabin. They took and showed them the summer cabin where they were going to kidnap her and then take her out. I think it was Lake Erie or something like that on one of the Great Lakes. Then the FBI even sold the guys the explosives they used to then turn around in October of 2020. In case you're wondering, that's right before the election. That's called the October surprise. The FBI then descends on these guys and arrests them. They start putting them through trials. Juries keep getting hung because, wait, this looks like it's all on the FBI. Finally, they get to a judge who blocks the jury from hearing all the coordination between the guys who are on trial and FBI informants. The guys who are on trial should be able to say, hold on, you said I organized this? I have a text message right here saying that John Doe organized this, the FBI informant. This isn't on me. This is all entrapment. The judge blocks that. They finally get a conviction. Now, let's go to the best part. You remember how I just said these guys might spend 20 years? There'll be minimum 7 to 10, but maybe 20 years of hard time. This may be the best part of the whole thing. The men sentenced on Thursday were not accused of committing terrorist acts themselves. Prosecutors told jurors that the defendants' actions helped support a plot, which amounted to a crime. We are sending men who were set up and entrapped. We are sending them to prison for the next 2 decades of their lives. They didn't plan it. They didn't fund it. They didn't organize it. They frankly didn't even participate in it. And these men are being sent to prison for the next 20 years simply because the FBI wanted to go after Americans who were angry about the lockdown measures, and they wanted to paint Republicans as being some violent group of domestic terrorists right before the election that happened in November of 2020. Now, let me ask you something. Let me go back to the email. Jesse, what's your take on the timing of the arrest of Sam Bankman-Fried? Is it suspicious just before he's scheduled to be interviewed by a congressional panel? Why would federal prosecutors not want to talk to him? Your audience would love to hear your analysis. Well, here's the thing. I don't know. You don't know. But when the government does things like I just described in Michigan, how in the world could we ever trust anything we see ever again? When the Department of Justice is working with the FBI to frame a bunch of doofuses in Michigan for some terrorist plot that they never would have organized or planned or come close to pulling off without FBI help. And then at the end of all this, they even took the nonviolent guys and they're shoving them in a dark hole for 20 years. How could I trust anything the DOJ does? I officially think everything they do is nefarious and political. And frankly, that should be the default for you and me and every human being that resides within the United States of America. The default position on everything now should be the government is lying. I wonder why. That should be the default position for everything. And look, This goes to something we've been talking about when it comes to late stage Republic stuff is it's hard to get to a place where you accept that, isn't it? It's hard to get to a place where, man, what? But it actually goes beyond the government. Many, many people have lived in societies where their cultural institutions all became corrupted and they were all lying all the time. That's where you are in America. And I know that's crazy and I don't want that. You don't want that, but we have to acknowledge where we are. If the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, says something about anything, your natural default position should be, I bet they're lying. I wonder if they're lying. Hey, why are they lying? That should be your deal. Look, I'm looking at a headline right here from Gothamist. COVID-19 cases in New York City schools, but mask wearing is up. COVID-19 cases are up in New York City schools. Mask wearing is up. By the way, I didn't mean to call it COVID. I meant to call it Glovid.
Help save lives and combat COVID-19.
Okay, COVID-19 cases are up in New York City schools, but mask wearing is not. Masks don't do anything. Your mask, it's stupid. It's not just stupid now. It was always stupid. Dr. Fauci has admitted as much because of that deposition that happened in Missouri. We even now know not only did he say it on camera, he said it to friends privately. Don't wear a mask. That's dumb. Masks don't do anything. But because every one of your cultural institutions has spent the last 2.5 years telling you that masks somehow do something, this has become ingrained in the public because people have simply not accepted yet that everything they see is a lie. And that's hard. Isn't that hard to get to that place? Everything you see is a lie. It is difficult to accept truths like that. Nevertheless, it is. Am I suspicious about Sam Bankman-Fried getting cuffs put on him right before he was supposed to sit in front of Republicans and be asked some very difficult questions? Do keep in mind, the biggest donor to Democrats last election cycle was George Soros. The second, Sam Bankman-Fried. Am I suspicious about the Department of Justice potentially arresting Sam Bankman-Fried in an effort to protect Democrats? Oh, I'm way beyond suspicious. That's exactly what I think they did. And it's your job now, DOJ, because you have violated trust. Not me. You violated trust. Now it's your job to prove me wrong. I don't have to prove that to you. You've lied to me 1,000 times. You have to prove it to me. You prove me wrong.
Support the First TV today and get instant access to exclusive specials like Who is Ron DeSantis, the history of FBI scandals, and America's worst presidents. Visit thefirsttv.com/support or download the First TV app to become a supporter and start watching today.